Welcome to another UCL Fantasy video. Today I'm covering the best wildcard team for Matchday 2. This is recorded on the Friday and plenty more injuries can happen. I'll be talking about two key players in this 50-man squad who have some doubts and some possible alternatives for these selections. I did the same for the best limitless team as well. I'd encourage you to watch that video, the chip strategy, and also all my other UCL Fantasy content, such as the team selection video coming right up and the deadline stream on Tuesday. And our aim is to get to 21,000 subscribers by that deadline stream next week. So if you're not enjoying this video, smash the like button and subscribe for new, and check all the links in the description below. Without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. While they may not have the best fixtures in Matchday 2 or 5, I still think Ter Stegen and Sommer are two of the best goalkeepers you can buy until the end of the group stages, and they should keep one or two clean sheets at the very least and get plenty of save points in the process. Ter Stegen is a really good option at 5.5 million. He is my favourite premium sort of goalkeeper, and you look at some alternatives like Edison, he's 6 million, and I'm just not really a big fan of the alternatives at his price and above. Now you could argue that I'm spending too much money in the goalkeeper position. They are currently my two goalkeepers as well, and if I were to play the wild card, they have a very good chance of staying in my 15-man squad. As for Sommer, I just think he offers tremendous value at 4.5 million. Despite Inter Milan losing their first game of the season against Sassuolo in Serie A, I still think Sommer is a really good choice. He can make plenty of saves, and so far Inter Milan have been very impressive defensively, conceding 1 goal in the Champions League and also only 3 goals in Serie A. So I still think Sommer is a great choice, and if I had to pick between these two, it would be Sommer. But as I always say in my UCL Fantasy videos, make sure when you're selecting your goalkeepers that they play on different days. So let's say, for example, your Tuesday goalkeeper blanks, you can sub them out during the substitution window and bring on your Wednesday goalkeeper to maximize your chance of getting points. Just like with the limitless squad, I have gone for variety in the defensive line, but I will admit there are some big issues with this defensive five, starting with Saliba, who picked up a knock and he is a serious doubt for the Bournemouth game at the weekend, and he could also miss the game against Lens, and Arsenal currently could go into that game with up to 8 players injured, including Saliba, and if that's the case, I'd be less keen on Arsenal, and I'd only stick with 1 or maybe 2 players maximum for Matchday 2, whether it's on the Limitless or the Wildcard. Injuries play such a big part, and if they're missing up to 6-7 starters, then it could spell big trouble for the Gunners. If Saliba is out, then you could go for some alternatives from the same defence, and we could just look quite easily at the likes of Zinchenko or possibly Ben White, who plays every single minute. He can play centre-back, and most importantly, he plays on the right-hand side. He's got a bit of attacking potential, and although he got a yellow card in Matchday 1, he's still got a 6-pointer, so he can get some ball recoveries. I have to admit, though, Saliba would be my favourite way of covering Arsenal defensively, even someone like Raya in goal if he continues to start. But Saliba is in it for now. If he is injured, of course, then you can go for Ben White instead. So that's going to be a difficult one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Would you go for someone else entirely to cover Arsenal defensively, or just from another team? I've also gone for Jules Koundé, who's a ball recovery machine, and he's enjoyed a fantastic start to this season. And he's probably been Barcelona's best player, if we're being honest. He got an 8-pointer in Matchday 1. I was going to go for him over Cancelo, but once I knew that Cancelo was starting and I had a few doubts about Koundé, I just went for the Portuguese international. But I think Koundé could be an even better UCL Fantasy asset. And I've also gone for Nathan Ake. He is another doubt in terms of starts, because in the Premier League, he's only started 3 games out of 6. He did start in Matchday 1 of the Champions League, but that doesn't mean he's going to start in Matchday 2. So this is a risky pick. He is 4.5 million. If you want to go for a nailed-on Man City defender, then Ruben Dias is probably the best of the lot, or Kyle Walker. But I have gone for Nathan Ake so he can stick within the 100 million budget. And I've also gone for Sergio Reguilon, who's a 4 million defender, and he's been one of Man United's best players this season, despite being on loan, and he's a 4 million option. That's pretty much what it comes down to, and I think he could get the odd attack in return, but most importantly, some clean sheets, especially at home to Copenhagen and Galatasaray. The final defender is Kim Min-jae. I was thinking of Upamecano, but there is a bit of rotation between him and De Ligt, whilst Kim Min-jae starts every single game for Bayern Munich, and I would back the Bavarians against every single team in their group. Obviously, Man United away could be a bit tough in Matchday 6, but between Matchdays 2 to 5, I think Bayern can get 2 or 3 clean sheets and do a really good job, probably winning all of their matches as well. I'm more confident about the midfield, but there is another injury doubt here in Bukayo Saka. He hasn't trained so far this week. I think he's doing some gym work, and what he might do is do a light training session before playing against Bournemouth on Saturday, so let's keep an eye out for that. But if he does miss out and he's not in the squad, I would be very concerned heading into matchday 2 of the Champions League, and as a result, I'd probably just move to Odegaard instead, who's $500,000 cheaper as well. I'd still have one Arsenal attacker against Lens, so if it's not Saka, then it'd be Odegaard and then possibly Gabriel Jesus. That's the way I'd rank the midfielders and forwards at the moment. And Jude Bellingham is just a shoe-in. I know he's facing Napoli away in matchday 2, which is Real Madrid's toughest game of the group stages, but he's just such a good option and he can still pick up an attack in return. He's got the ball recovery potential. He's a jack of all trades, so I'd still have him. I just wouldn't captain him in matchday 2. And then we've got Casemiro, who's in a bit of form now. He scored twice against Bayern Munich. He got a goal and assist against Crystal Palace. So apart from that, he's got the ball recovery potential, which he showed in abundance at Real Madrid. And whilst he might not get as many ball recoveries at Man United, and things still don't look amazing for the Red Devils, I still think Casemiro can up his ball recovery potential, and if he can mix that with attacking returns, he could be an absolute steal at 6 million. I've also gone for Leroy Sané, one of my favourite UCL fantasy options of all time, and I would recommend a double up in Bayern Munich offensively, and Sané is the go-to midfielder. Now, if you're looking for Serge Gnabry, he could be another good option, but he was subbed off around 11 minutes in Bayern Munich's last game due to an arm or wrist injury, I think it was, so keep an eye out for that. But Leroy Sané is fit, available as things stand, and he's a really good option in UCL Fantasy. The last midfielder is Barrenechea from Real Sociedad. He's a 4.5 million midfielder. That's pretty much the main reason why I'm going for him. He's another enabler like Sergio Reguilon. They're not ideal picks, but they allow you to go for the likes of Saka if he's fit, Bellingham for some maybe premium defenders and a goalkeeper, and also some big hitters up front. So that's why I've gone for Barrenechea, and I think Real Sociedad could be pretty decent and maybe qualify from the group stages if Benfica don't get their act together. But as things stand, I'm going for Barrenechea and this midfield 5. If Saka's injured, I would go for Martin Odegaard instead. The front three tends to be the most interesting part of any UCL fantasy team. I have gone for Erling Haaland. He is the template pick up front. Him and Bellingham have the highest ownership of any player. And despite facing Leipzig away in matchday 2, I'd still back him in any game. And I know he blanked here last season, but I still think he can produce a return, especially with the amount of chances Man City are creating. And in recent weeks, you have to say Haaland's finishing hasn't been really that good for his standards. He's been missing so many big chances. If he can finally get his shooting boots on, which sounds crazy for me to say, then he could be on for some monstrous returns, even against the likes of Leipzig. I've also gone for Joao Felix as a cheaper forward, and I still like Di Maria and a few other forwards around that price bracket like Alvarez, but I would try to diversify the attack if possible, and Joao Felix has had a really good start to life at Barcelona, and maybe that style of play, that attacking football, really suits him, but he might be frustrating from time to time, and he's not going to be as consistent as Robert Lewandowski, but at his price, he offers a decent potential, decent value, and Porto away, once again, a tough fixture, and it's a reoccurring theme throughout matchday 2, but I still think Joao Felix is capable of some big things this week. And I've also gone for Harry Kane. He's the easiest pick on the wild card. He's probably one of the first names on the team sheet, and I would actually rank him higher than Erling Haaland in matchday 2. He has enjoyed an incredible start to life at Bayern Munich, and I think Harry Kane will continue to go strong, and the way he plays just really suits Bayern Munich, and he hasn't even been dropping deep as he tends to do at England or Tottenham, and that could also play into Bayern Munich's hands with their pacey wingers and finding those spaces in behind. But Harry Kane has still done a really good job. He's on penalties, he got a goal and assist against Man United in matchday 1, and he's facing Copenhagen away now, and it gets even better with Galatasaray in matchday 3 away from home, which could be a bit tough, but then he faces them at home in matchday 4. So the fixtures are looking really good for Bayern Munich and Harry Kane. I would advocate a double or even triple up in Bayern Munich, as we've gone for in this wild card, but Harry Kane has to be in your team in my opinion, despite the plethora of options in the front line. As always, I'd encourage you to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Are there any players we haven't covered today that deserve an honourable mention? Which players would you replace Saka and Saliba with if they are injured, or if any other injury arises from this recording of the video by the time it's uploaded or even after it's published? Let me know if there are any other injuries that happen, which players you would replace these selections with, because that's also really crucial. In terms of the captaincy, it is a bit tough, but just like with the best limitless team video, I'm probably going to stick with the same players. So on the Tuesday, I would go for Harry Kane or Leroy Sané, and I would have a slight preference towards Harry Kane. And on the 4th of October, I'd most likely go for Erling Haaland, but it's not an ideal pick away to Leipzig, to be quite frank. But Erling Haaland and Man City, you know how good they are, and that's why against absolutely anybody, they still offer good captaincy options, and they still have a great chance of winning football matches. So those would be my captains. And also in terms of the bench, you know the drill. Bench those playing on the 4th of October. Make sure that everyone playing on the 3rd, the Tuesday, is in your starting 11. Really simple stuff. I'd encourage you to check out my How to Play UCL Fantasy guide. That will cover absolutely everything you need to know. All the rules will be explained in detail. And I thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for new. Let's try to get this video to over 300 likes, and let's keep on pushing towards 21,000 subscribers and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and I'd encourage you to check all the links in the description below for the Patreon and channel memberships, so you can get exclusive early access to all my videos, and you could also be featured on the front page of my YouTube channel, get exclusive badges and emojis to use in all of my live streams and videos. Check out my Twitter and Instagram, as I said, the Discord server where we talk about UCL Fantasy and FPL in detail, and there's so many more things like the UCL Fantasy League where we have over 2,000 members already. So thank you very much to those that have signed up, those that send in super chats throughout live streams, super thanks in videos, and all the members and patrons. You're massively appreciated. I'll see you very soon for more UCL Fantasy and FPL content, and I hope you enjoy the football.